to Leitner. Puts it up.
You're listening to the Culture State Podcast.
Get ready. Woo!
Yes, sir. Culture State right here. This is going to be another great episode for you guys. I still have my U-Haul boxes in the back. We're going to move those soon, though. We're going to move, so we were early with it. We're going to move those soon, and we'll have a new, setup behind all this. I'm Chris Lee.
And I'm Dennis Cox.
Dennis, we have a very special guest.
Yeah,
Another NBA player from Kinston, North Carolina. Stop me if you've ever heard this before. An NBA player from Kinston, North Carolina.
What? An NBA player from Kinston? That small town? Don't they have like one traffic light? I think I blinked and missed Kinston. Like when I drove to the beach a couple weeks ago.
They literally have NBA water down there. So just go down there, let your newborn sip from the waters of Lake Kinston. I don't even know if there's a such thing as Lake Kinston, but sip from the waters down there and see if they grew up to be a basketball player, because it seems like that's how it works.
Okay, so we're talking to Reggie Bullock today, who just recently signed, is going to be in with the Dallas Maveriks this upcoming season. Spent this past couple years with the New York Knicks, was in the playoffs and a pretty high-profile series. What's that?
Yeah, I liked him with the Knicks. That was a good fit.
Yeah, it was a very good fit. In a pretty high-profile series against the Atlanta Hawks, a little shoulder dust up with Trae Young. Reggie Bullock is just one. Like you said, Jerry Stackhouse, Brandon Ingram, Cedric Maxwell,
Charles Shackelford. Yeah,
Charles. It's an NBA starting five, just about. They're all from that little tiny town of Kinston, like that little tiny town in Kinston. Yeah, all from there. Just the 252 in general, just the talented of people that come there, not just basketball players. I know we've talked about it in the past. Rhapsody, Petey Pablo are all from the Greenville area. It's amazing. There's something special. I don't know if it's just the runoff, all to the tar and the Pambook, like whatever it is. It's just something's crazy out there. But
and shout out to Bam Adebayo too.
Yeah, Bam Adebayo. That's true.
From
that's
the 252.
It's mind blowing to see what has come out of that area of the state alone.
It's amazing. And I think one of the things with Reggie that a lot of people maybe lose sight of, even though he was a big star coming out of Kinston, when he was at North Carolina at the time, he was kind of overshadowed by other stars. Yeah. Right. And we've heard this from North Carolina people before, that there are North Carolina players who are a lot better than what they had a chance to show while they're in Chapel Hill, because that was a particular system. Roy Williams is a great coach, but you were going to fit into a system. He didn't necessarily have the setup to where he was going to make the system fit around you, like we've seen Coach K do over the last maybe 7 years or so, or maybe 10 years. He's going to fit you in the system, and so somebody like Reggie Bullock couldn't get off his 3-point shooting prowess. He couldn't get off. He was definitely a lockdown defender still.
Oh yeah.
But he's been really been able to really blossom in the NBA, and that's something that was really cool to see. That college didn't define. He didn't have a bad college career by any stretch.
Not at all.
But he wasn't that guy that you would have assumed would have had that amount of success from that team that he's had, and I'm very proud of him for sure.
Oh, his style fits the current NBA.
Yeah,
especially being. Yeah, exactly. 3-and-D player. Play strong defense, and you're a great 3-point shooter. And when you're playing with great point guards, that's exactly what you need around them. That's what this league is built up nowadays. So with him playing in Dallas with Luka Doncic, who's always gonna draw people, man, he could have a field day. Him and Tim Hardaway Jr., man, those two guys that's going to be fun to watch. I'm a big Luka Doncic fan as it is already. Now I have even more reason to tune in to watch the guy, just because Reggie Bullock I know is going to be on his wing. And yeah, it fits him perfectly. Like you said, at UNC, they have their system, which is fine. It worked for him. There ain't nothing wrong with it. It worked. And it's just his style of play fits the NBA currently. And he brings some toughness too out there on the court. He ain't afraid to mix it up.
Don't forget about this as well, right? They also have JJ Redick.
Oh, yeah.
So you're talking about 3-point shooting between Reggie Bullock and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Luka Doncic and JJ Redick. And Kristaps Porzingis can shoot the three as well. And he's like 7'32".
I think so. Something like that. Maybe 33. He's tall.
Yeah. He's like a unicorn for real. And apparently he's, doing really well and not feeling good as far as his health. He's not, having some lingering issues according to things I've read. So Dallas Mavericks is a team definitely to watch out for sure. I mean, the Bucks were able to win the championship this year without having a big three. Who knows? Maybe Dallas could be that team. I mean, we saw what Luka could do by himself for Slovenia in the Olympics. Now he's got a whole group of NBA players. We'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting to watch for sure.
It's going to be fun. I mean, he's been around the league for close to 10 years now, but he's still only 30 years old. So he's still got some years, some really good years still ahead of him. I think he's going to be in a really, really good spot where he can continue to flourish late in his career. But there's so much more to him. Obviously, we talk about what he's doing on the court, but we're going to get into this with him, Chris, about what he does off the floor and what is meaningful and impactful to him in his life, and how some situations involving family members that have shaped his life.
Yeah, absolutely. Very insightful, and something that I'm glad he was able to open up about. And when somebody has lost somebody that's close to them, I don't know the feeling of losing a sibling or a parent. I don't know what that pain feels like. That feels like that would be unimaginable pain. My wife recently lost an older sister. And so she's kind of going through it, especially being in the COVID time where her sister was in another country. My wife is from Bermuda, and not able to actually go and be a part of that. He's lost two family members. It was in the past, but you can't imagine that type of hurt. He's going to open up about it. You'll hear more about that from Reggie Bullock after this. All right, welcome back to the Culture State podcast. We have a very special guest, former UNC Tar Heel, current NBA player. His name is Reggie Bullock. And before we get into everything with what you have going on right now, Reggie, I want to know, what is in the water in Kinston? Because you guys have more NBA players per capita than anybody else, it seems like. You guys just turning out NBA players all the time, it seems.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like, Kinston is a great home for the basketball tradition that it brings. I grew up here. I've seen a lot of greats from the city make it before me, the legacy that they left within the city since I was a young kid. I knew that was my path to make it out of Kinston. And, saying like the greats like, Charles Shackelford, Charles Ozell, Jerry Stackhouse. I mean, so many great other players, that Cedric Maxwell that came through the city that, I looked up to as a young player. And, I'm glad to be a part of that special group. But I definitely think it's something in the water, that keep putting out these players from a small town.
Yeah, I feel like you're one of those guys that came from Carolina that while you were there, you didn't get a chance to show everything that you got. And then when you got to the NBA, it was just like you became, just that specialist, that guy that everybody needs on that team to lock somebody down, to make the open, three, and, to help, I guess, give some muscle. How's it been kind of blossoming in the NBA since your college career?
Since my college career, I think it's been great. I feel like, the first part of my career professionally, it started off a little slow as far as, actually getting a lot of opportunity. But, once I actually ran into my game of opportunity up in Detroit, up under Van Gundy, I just felt like my game soared a little bit. I was able to guard the other team's best player every night and still shoot the three at a high clip. And I felt like that's where my niche became at in this league. And, I just try to stick to my skills, stick to what I do, try to not do anything out of the ordinary. It's been working out for the teams that I've been on, and I'm just blessed for the opportunity that's been given.
You excited about your opportunity with Dallas and playing with Luka?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. When I played against them last year, it was a great competitive game for both of us. We had a lot of respect for each other, and our team came out with a W that night. But it was definitely a competitive game, and I'm excited to be matched up with them.
There's a little history of North Carolina guys playing in Dallas. You got Josh Howard that played there and had a great career with the Mavericks. Have you had a chance to reach out to him while he's in Dallas and all that?
I have not got a chance to reach out to Josh Howard, but actually when I was in high school and I was going up there, chilling with Stackhouse. I actually was at the house when Josh Howard was there, and I remember Josh Howard when he was at Wake Forest, and the type of games that he played. And I mean, he's a tough competitor, but I haven't got a chance to actually link with him since being signed with Dallas.
I want to ask you about your time with the Knicks and this past playoff series, just for the NBA. You guys surprised some people this year, and then one of the best series I think from the entire playoffs was you guys in the Atlanta Hawks, and you had a nice little shoulder brush with Trae Young. Was that an accident or was that something where it's like you're trying to get in Trae Young's head?
No, I mean, obviously I pay my dues to Trae. He's a talented player. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we're just trying to bring that New York game, that New York grittiness back to the game. And, we wasn't backing down. A lot of people had us marked out all year. And we wanted to hang our hats on our defense, our competitiveness that we bring every night. And we just had to match up against Atlanta. And, I mean, obviously, we felt like a couple games got away from us early in the series. But, I mean, it was definitely a competitive battle throughout the whole series. It was a lot of fun.
How did playing at Carolina, which is always is a spotlight program, and you go to a city like New York and you're playing for the Knicks, which is a historic franchise when it comes to league. How did playing at a place like Carolina prepare you, or maybe compare to playing in New York for a team like the Knicks?
Playing at Carolina, I mean, I felt like that was NBA basketball already, just because of the publicity that we had as players. The university was well respected in college basketball. And they school just always kept flooding NBA players to the league. So I felt like from the fans, from the school spirit, the school's everything, from the student life and everything, I just felt like it just prepared me well for that major primetime spotlight that New York had for me. And playing in Madison Square Garden was second to none. Those fans was amazing. Just bringing that energy back in that city was just so great. And I just felt like definitely, being in that primetime zone spotlight that Carolina had for me in college, I felt like it prepared me well for the next level.
Let's circle back to the state of North Carolina when it comes down to the basketball players that it produces. I mean, not just Kinston, but, just the state of North Carolina in general. There's so many former stars, future stars, rising stars that are just in and around the NBA. Right now, it's just like you can take your pick, and almost every team has some sort of North Carolina connection right now. What do you think that says about the culture of North Carolina basketball and the future of where it could go, as far as, always churning out these high level athletes that are really making a huge impact in the NBA?
I feel like Carolina, just the whole state, has produced so many great players over the years. You got Steph Curry, you got CP, you got John Wall, you got Peter Tucker, you got me, you got everyone from the 252 area that plays professionally, 336 area that plays professionally. So, I mean, it's a lot of areas within the state, but I mean, like we said, we all super blessed to be able to still hang in our hats on with the people before us, left from the state, to be recognized as a hoop state. So I'm just glad to be a part of such a special bunch of basketball players throughout the whole history of North Carolina basketball. And I just feel like we're one of those top tier states in the whole country when it comes to, being well respected for basketball. And I think the future for it is great for the young players that's coming through. You got players here from Kinston, Dontre Style.
Mm-hmm.
It's another player from a small town like Kinston that's at Carolina currently right now. So, I mean, just small cities like this is definitely something in the water. And I just feel like just because of the history and just because of what, people beforehand, people before me have laid and set out for us, I mean, I feel like we just walk within the footsteps of it to, to be successful. Just like the ones before us. And I think the future is great.
It's crazy because I'll look back to, I used to work in TV in Greensboro, and I look back to old, pickup games I was able to see. And then, you have guys like Bam Adebayo there, or, you know, Brandon Childress, or do you have like Aaron Wiggins, who's now with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and or Jalen Horde, who's not from North Carolina but played, you know, of course, at Wesleyan before he went to Wake Forest, and just different people like that. And it's crazy to see how things kind of continue to grow, and there's always that next wave of players. Are there any players that you personally mentor that you try to look out for, that maybe hit you up for advice?
Well, I have a younger cousin that's currently playing basketball at DeMatha right now. I think he's a sophomore going into his junior year, about 6'7". His name is Sean Hill. That's a cousin of mine that's playing there, but you know, that I mentor. He texts me, keep me updated with his games. I mean, obviously, you know, Dontrez Styles too from Kinston. You know, I'm like a big bro to him. Anything that he needs, you know, he reach out to me and, you know, ask me questions about different things. He trains with my best friend, Curtis Hines. So as far as, you know, people that I'm continuing to mentor, I mean, Obi Toppin, he's one of my rooks when I was in with New York. He's one of the people that, you know, I still stay in contact with since leaving New York. So he's like a little brother to me. So other than that, you know, I just keep my sane, work on my game, focus on me. You know, if the young guys, you know, like what I'm doing or love it or want the advice, I'm always here for them. And that's how I kind of keep it, kind of a family thing.
Now, I want to know, what was a crazier environment to play in? Dean Dome, Cameron Indoor, or on a carrier ship? Or Madison Square Garden.
I mean, what? Oh, Madison Square Garden. When we in those playoffs and those teams into that, I feel like that will go one.
Okay.
The loudness from a smaller group of people, I would probably say Duke would probably fall in there. As far as just like being loved by everyone and playing in front of so many fans and all that, I feel like that intensity will come from both Madison Square Garden and the Dean Dome.
Okay.
Because you're definitely going to be hated in Cameron Indoor, especially me. But I mean, other than that, you know, I mean, it was three. Those are three special gyms that I was able to play in, and I feel truly blessed and honored to be there. But yeah, that's my intake on all three.
Yeah, well, what was it like playing on a carrier ship? That's something that a lot of people don't remember. That UNC that you guys played, was it Kentucky or Michigan State? I can't remember off the top of my head.
State.
Yeah, Michigan State.
I definitely remember that game.
Yeah, you're playing on a boat.
How do you not get seasick? I get seasick.
That was definitely a crazy experience. To be playing on, you know, outdoor on a carrier ship, and, you know, having all the people from, you know, the service there, having some of the family members that was able to make it. But that was a great experience. I still see pictures from that right now currently, and I'm like, wow, that's actually me playing out there. But it was great fun. I think we was one of the first college teams to ever do that. So it was dope. It was a dope experience.
Did the boat like ever rock or sway just a little bit?
That's what we was all worried about when they actually had us come and walk on the carrier ship before we actually played on it the next following night. But and we shot around on it like the day before and all that too. But I mean, it was cool. I mean, it was like a steel gym. It was just outside.
I playing on a blacktop. Yeah.
Right.
I wanted somebody to get mad and just take the ball and just chuck it in the ocean or something.
Right.
That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
But then you'd be all over ESPN for the wrong reasons after that.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to ask you about your work in the community and just different things that you have going on. I think you opened something earlier this year. You're about to open something else. What all do you have going on as far as your philanthropic and also your entrepreneurial ventures here in the state?
It's a couple of things that, you know, I'm trying to, you know, bring here to the city of Kinston. You know, that I'm focusing on just, you know, different avenues to think about, like, you know, life after basketball. So Kinston is a special home to me. I still have family here. I just, you know, want to bring that energy from, you know, when I was growing up and the success that the city is already going. I just want to keep up with it and add cool things to it that I like enjoying, and I think that would be good for the community. You know, I have a hookah lounge that, you know, I have a grand opening of that tonight. It's called Me Kiosha's Hookah Lounge. It's the two combined names of my sisters that was, you know, that left us a few years ago. And, you know, I wanted to start that cool thing here in my hometown. So I started that. It's a couple other, you know, things that I'm thinking about bringing to the city. So it's all about, as it keep coming to my head, I just keep putting out ideas and just trying to put them together. I can't hear you.
Oh, my fault. I had myself on mute. You brought it up, and that's something I actually wanted to pivot into. But about your sister and just the identity and just folks who are transgender, who are I guess attacked or targeted in their daily lives and not allowed to just be them. What are some of the things that you've, I guess, learned through just that experience about the community, and are different things that you want to do to maybe potentially help the community out, who may be experiencing this, since you felt it from a family perspective?
My biggest thing is, just allowing a person to live within their name and live and, just be free. I felt like those was one of the things that I kind of didn't learn about my sister, that she just wanted to just be herself and just be recognized for what she was feeling on internally inside herself. And that was, that was her wanting to be recognized as a woman. And I truly didn't understand that when I was younger. But, as I got older, I've been around it more. I had more experience to it. I seen, been at different seminars and different things that's, standing up for the LGBTQ community. But, once I just started, making myself more knowledgeable, I started understanding more, started understanding the terminology and everything that goes on with the community, learning the differences and all that. But my main thing as, me being a basketball player, trying to use my platform to, be able to, stop the violence that happened within the community. My other sister, Kiosha, she was killed due to gun violence and, things like that, I stand up for. So as far as them two, those are pretty much two of my main things within the community that I do, other than, trying to start business and cool things for the city.
How do you take those situations and be able to focus? Like we spoke with Andre Dawkins a few weeks ago, and he had a situation where his sister was killed in the car crash. I think his freshman year at Duke. So he was a lot younger, and it was probably different for him based off of his age and maturity at the time. But it definitely impacted him. Did you have times where it impacted you on the court? How do you lock in and focus from situations like that? I can't imagine what it would feel like to lose. My sister, you lost two.
Yeah. It was tough. It was tough when it happened to both of my sisters. My first sister happened in 2014. That was like my second year in the NBA. It was a very tough pill to swallow. That was my oldest sibling. We was very close, and not really understanding our true identity kind of stuck with me more and wanted me to use my platform to actually, stand up for. But it was tough with losing my second sister also to gun violence, something to the same similarity. So I just knew I just felt like I couldn't give up, and I felt like, my sisters wouldn't want that. I couldn't give up on my family. I couldn't, just give up on the things that I wanted to get accomplished for myself as a man, with me having kids and, me being a father figure. It was very important for me to keep going and keep my head down, keep working. Know that everything's happened for a reason. God won't put more on me than I can bear. So that was just my main focus, and it just allowed me to keep going. And, knowing that my sisters is looking down on me from a better place, and I'm just down here just keeping their name alive and just handling what I need to handle, and just trying to keep a smile on my face and just keep going.
Absolutely.
What are those conversations for what you're advocating for in terms of anti-gun violence and transgender identity? What have those conversations been like in the locker room with fellow teammates?
I've actually been getting a lot of support. Every one of my teammates that I've been on playing professionally basketball has been nothing but support for me. What's crazy is a lot of my teammates don't even use any of those type of words around me. They know exactly what I stand up for. They know exactly what happened to my sister. I've had so many messages from current players and, just reaching out to me, letting me know if there's anything I may need. They're there for me. But like I said, to each his own, man. And, they understand what what's my point of view and where I come from, and you know, why I feel the way that I feel. And you know, there's been nothing but support from the whole NBA. Supported me a lot. Being at the Pride Parade gave me a lot of recognition as a pro player, standing up for the community. So just all those things I'm doing in the community, man, I've been getting nothing but love, and a lot of professional players from my field, you know, has been reaching out and giving me nothing but support.
I think that's interesting where folks can take, you know, professional athletes and in some ways, for some people, what you guys are and who you are and the life that you live feels unattainable. But it's almost in a similar way towards other walks of life where, you know, you may hear about different things, but you don't actually experience it or know anybody. So when things happen or you feel a certain type of way, you don't realize that that person is a brother or a sister or, you know, a parent, you know, a loved one to somebody, you know, things like that. And people just really kind of forget that. And, you know, I think it's really admirable that you've kind of, you know, helped with those causes in your own way. And, you know, I think that's really dope and a good way to, I guess, endear yourself to certain communities, but then, but also just stand up for somebody that you loved at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, that's just my main focus. I mean, it's do everything. You know, family is first. And that's something I hang my hat on, and I know that's something that my sisters would have hung their hat on too, if it was to happen to me, you know. So, and I knew what type of people they were, and to me, it's just about all love. To my family, it's about all love. It was saddening what happened to them, but I know that, you know, they wouldn't want that to happen to no one, and that's what we as a family hang our hat on, and that's what I promote.
So where do things go from here? What do you do with business as you go along in your NBA career and as you're, you know, looking towards the days post NBA career? Where do you want to go? Are we going to see you in, you know, Forbes one day as one of the top former athletes, you know, top 50 or something like that?
That's exactly where life goes. But like me, I just feel like, you know, with me getting older, I just keep surrounding myself with, you know, smart individuals, smart people to allow me to be at ease, to allow me to go out there and do what I do as far as, you know, my craft. You know, my craft is creating and playing basketball. And, you know, I get ideas to, you know, people like Miss Lovely Allison, get ideas to her, and she birthed them for me. And I just sit back, relax, and, you know, go out there on the court and just play the game that, you know, God blessed me with. And I just surround myself with the right people to help me work it and manage it. So hopefully one day, you will one day see me definitely in former players Forbes. So this is all the beginning, crawling stages, but I'm from here this day, hopefully you see me in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This season. We should be there this season. And
absolutely.
So we got to go out and just play together, play tough, and go get it.
Listen, before you guys go public, you know what I'm saying, before you have the IPO, let me and Dennis know so we can be, you know, early in, you know, investors and everything, you know, make sure that, you know, we put some money behind that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
As far as your Carolina Tar Heels with Roy Williams stepping away, how did you feel about that? And also, you know, I guess this is going to be like a jumbled up question. Roy Williams, how you feel about that? How do you feel about the new coach taking over, Mr. Hubert Davis? And then how you feel about NIL? Because there's something that you could have potentially, you know, taken part in when you were in college. There's a whole lot of different things that are changing right now in Chapel Hill. I want to know your thoughts on that.
As far as Coach Williams is, you know, he's like a father figure to all his former players. He actually reached out to me. He's like, yeah, I'm sitting here at my house and I look across the bottom of the ticker and I see Reggie Bullock signed to, you know, Dallas Maverick. So he called me. You know, just having a coach like that still he texts his players before every training camp, wishing them a great season. Former players that he coached, wishing them a great season. He come check you out at least once or twice throughout the season when he has the opportunity and has the free time. He comes to his players' games. Hubert Davis was there when I was there. He's a former NBA player. I think a lot of players and recruits is going to be able to relate to him because that's the goal that they want to be able to get to the NBA. So they probably will be able. He'll probably be able to relate to him. He's a blue collar guy. He's he's within the family. I think he'll be a great asset to the university as being the head coach. I think he'll keep us on the right path that we need to go as a university. Now with these players being able to get these opportunities to get this extra cash that's pretty crazy to me. That it's an opportunity for players to be able to get paid. But I mean, I feel like players to be able to get paid for their likeliness, I feel like that is a great thing. But I mean, I wish it was an opportunity for when I was in college for us to be able to get paid. But I mean, I think it's a great thing for college athletes these days, especially a lot of players like myself that come from, smaller communities, that may be needing a little extra cash in college, and you're going to these super huge universities and they're making a bunch of cash, and there's opportunities where this player can get $1,000, an extra $500 to be able to pay for this. I don't think it would be too much, but and then about the players, that's so much that's going on with college, and the players that can just go straight from high school and be getting paid to pretty much be a pro player. Those leagues right there. I mean, that's a great opportunity too. I mean, it's just so much that's going on that I wish it was going on when I was in college. I felt like I probably would have still went to Carolina because it's the best school in the world to me. But I feel like it's a great opportunity for young players to be recognized on a basketball scale globally.
Absolutely. I think I'm thinking back to when you're in college. I'm pretty sure if you would have gone back to your high school and said, hey, we're going to do a basketball camp for this day, Reggie Bullock, $20 a head, that would have been good money for you, in your college days to go back with. And, maybe a few Reggie Bullock jerseys being sold, stuff like that. It just would have been a great opportunity for y'all.
Yes, sir. Definitely would have helped out.
I was going to ask, give the audience information on how they can, go to your businesses and support, and what's the information online, all that, so people can see, check your businesses out if they're ever in Kinston.
Yes. So my hookah lounge is 800B West Vernon, Kinston, North Carolina. We have an Instagram page for the hookah lounge. It's Mikiosha Hookah. And then we also have a website, remarkable.life, that we go by. That's REMARKABULL.life. So those are a couple of the things that we have that you can go check out, all the businesses and different things that I'm doing within the community. But I want to thank y'all two guys definitely for having me, bringing me on the show, and putting my publicity out there for my businesses, for the basketball, everything that I'm doing. I definitely appreciate y'all guys.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Hey, we're all about people from North Carolina. We're all about supporting North Carolina as a state.
Sir.
So the pleasure is absolutely ours to have you on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Kinston, North Carolina, baby.
That's right.
Kinston, North Carolina. There's something definitely in the water. We want to thank Kinston's own Reggie Bullock for joining us for the Culture State podcast. Very amazing job, and I'm glad. I hope that his hookah lounge does well, but I'm also glad that he is using that to help keep the names alive of his sisters.
Yeah, this is something I don't talk about often, Chris. This is I was able to somewhat relate to Reggie during our conversation. Just now hitting the 5-year mark of when I lost my oldest niece of cancer. She was 8 months old. And that impact when you lose somebody, it stays with you forever. And hearing him talk about it was actually kind of good for me to hear it, and just trying to figure out ways like, what? This person may not physically be here with us anymore, but I'm going to keep their name alive so people know. And using what happened as a way to continue to drive awareness and to drive understanding of what people may have gone through in their lives and what people would fight through on a daily basis. And it's also very relatable for us as people, is that here's this NBA star that we see on national television, an NBA spotlight, playing in Madison Square Garden, that he has gone through something that an everyday average normal person has. And it reminds us again that, hell, you know what? These are people too that go through stuff that we do.
Absolutely. I think those conversations have been apparent with, you see what Naomi Osaka has gone through.
Yep.
Different things where we talk about, we just had an episode about the killing of Michael Jordan's dad.
Yeah.
Right.
With the man lamb.
We didn't have maybe the language back in the early 90s, but Michael Jordan leaving basketball was all about taking care of your mental health.
Yeah.
And was all about the grieving of a lost one. And Dennis, I thank you for talking about that. I didn't know that was coming, and I didn't know about that story before this. So, I appreciate you for opening up and sharing that with us. It's amazing to me that, when those things happen, people can pick it back up and almost, become greater at what they do. They put their all into what they're doing, because now it's more than just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for somebody else at that point.
Well, it's also for people in that situation, you also learn that you still have to keep moving forward. You're not trying to leave it behind or forget about it. That's not it. It's all about, I still have to move forward with life. Yeah, I'm going to bring this with me, but you still have to keep moving forward. But also, when you move forward, how are you going to make life better for others moving forward? Because that is almost therapy for yourself as well. And so it's nice seeing that Reggie is using what happened. Like you talked about, he's like, I walked in pride parades. That's something that, I don't know if he would have done that had this not happened. So it's just, so I think it's also good that, you can still move forward. You can still grieve and process it, but still help others through your grief.
This is probably the heaviest we've ever gotten on this podcast, but one of the things I think that people kind of need to do more in general is we need to have conversations with each other.
Yeah.
And I for instance, and I can admit to this, growing up in North Carolina, there are certain things that you're not exposed to. And for me, when I went to UNCG, that was the first time I was really exposed to the LGBTQ community. At the high school I went to, there wasn't really anybody kind of open about it. There are people that you suspected, but it wasn't like anything that was open.
Yeah.
It wasn't anybody. It was like I had one cousin that I knew of, and my mom had one friend, and that was like my only really exposure. UNCG, I got a lot more exposure to people in the LGBTQ community, but the T of that never had exposure to that. And as far as the T, and one of the things I love about my profession is a chance to talk to different people of different backgrounds. And it was because of radio interviews that I've had with folks who are trans after college that opened my eyes to who they really are as people. And I feel like I'm blessed because I have this to expose me. If I didn't have this to expose me, I don't know what my thought processes would be. And out of that, I have, a really good friend who, I talk to a lot, who's trans, lives here in the Raleigh-Durham area. And she's just been an amazing person. And I'm glad I was able to form this relationship and understand her points of view on life, who she is and all that. And I think, like I was saying earlier with Reggie, I think we forget people are actually people.
Yeah.
We talk about athletes like they're commodities. People are picking their, fantasy drafts right now. And we think about, if you're trying to play GM and how you can keep people under the cap and all that type of stuff. And we think about players as transactions and as commodities.
Or so even sports betting.
We have real lives. People have real lives. And then also the same on the other end. It's the same for people that you have never been exposed to. You forget that they're real people. You forget that these people are brothers, sisters, their cousins, their business partners, their life partners. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they mean something to somebody. Nobody's life is that disposable. And so I just hope that, his message, our message today, it's people can understand how precious life is, no matter who is the person who owns that life and the type of lifestyle that they live. I just wanted to put that out there.
100%. And I think you're right. I mean, outside of maybe a couple conversations you and I have had off air, or actually several conversations you and I have had off air about, for those who may not watch this on YouTube, what you can do, look it up, 99.9 The Fan.
You can see my boxes in the background.
Yeah, you can see all my comic books behind me. Yeah. Chris is black. I am white. We've had different experiences in our lives, and Chris and I have you and I have had these conversations about this. And you and I have even had conversations back when we were on live on 99.9 The Fan in March about the different voting stuff and how it impacts sports down in Georgia. How the All-Star game was getting or potentially moved, which it eventually did in Major League Baseball. So you and I have had these conversations, but it's good that we can continue to have them and still learn more, about what another person's experience is. And I think it's hard having these conversations. They're not easy things to bring up, but at the end of the day, you're better off because of it. At least I think so. And one of the things I love about North Carolina is that it is kind of more or less an easygoing type of place. I mean, everybody's going to run into some, people that you may not like here and there, but for the most part, it's an easygoing place. For sure.
But here's where I'm critical of North Carolina. I would love for North Carolina, instead of where we were a few years ago with HB2, and we were behind the 8 ball and kind of the laughing stock of the nation.
Yeah.
We need to also take who we are and make sure we include everybody in that, and take these steps so we can be, pioneers and on the front line of inclusion when it comes down to people of different races, and people who are the LGBTQ community, and also including women in a lot of different things. Right. I just wanted to make sure I said that if you're listening to this, do what you can to make your community and the people that you're around a lot better. But I also challenge you, if everybody has prejudice, right, of some sort. A lot of that prejudice can be fixed by cultivating true relationships and having real conversations and sitting back and listening. Don't go to somebody who maybe you disagree with and wait to hear their point so you can put them down. No, hear them. It's not about how you disagree. Hear them, feel that, and then start to think about it from a different way, and understand you don't have to come back and tell them why you disagree. Maybe it'll change your mind on certain things, and you can understand, like, oh man, I came from a certain space in my head where I was totally disregarding who this person really is. And that can help out a lot. And sometimes a conversation can go a long way, and you can end up having friends that you probably never even had before. Never in my life.
Yeah.
Did I think that, one of, if I counted, like top 20 closest friends, one of them would be trans. Never thought so. Yeah. But that's the case right now, and that's something that I'm proud of. And I can honestly say that I needed work. I recognized it, went and had some conversations, ended up making a friend out of it. And now, here we are. So I think more people need to do that, and North Carolina can be better with that. So let's all lead the charge when it comes to that.
Well, we all know, Chris, that I'm number one on that top of that list of your top 20 friends.
My wife has to be number one, but
Oh,
well,
okay. I get it. The whole got to be best friends with your spouse thing. Okay, I get that. All right, rub it into the single guy. Cool, got it. All right, still looking for my best friend. Apparently,
she's out there. And if anybody wants to go on a date with Dennis, man, like let's hook this up. You know what I'm saying? He has a beard. You know what I'm saying? Women love beards. You know what I'm saying?
He has a beard. Okay.
He has his own place. I've been there. It's nice. It's clean. He's a clean guy.
I believe it or not.
He's a clean dude. So I mean, hey, let's make this thing happen. He has a steady career. He's a former athlete. I mean, what more could you want?
Nothing. I got nothing. Chris.
But in all seriousness, though, if you're somebody who's listening who and you're looking for resources or just anything like that, just go to equality as far as if you're a part of the LGBTQ community, whether you're out or you're not out, go to equalitync.org. A lot of resources there, a lot of programs there. Of course, there's local chapters in North Carolina where you can join and feel like you have a community of people who are, like-minded and can help you out. So hope that is something that really helps people. equalitync.org. And just in general, man, let's just love each other more, man. We're too separated. Let's just love each other more.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, last thing we need is, telling people to, wrap it up, wrap up the conversation, right?
Yeah, we don't want anybody to say that. I mean, how would you feel if somebody
it says wrap it up?
I guess I'm talking too long. Please give us a thick 5-star rating.
That's what you get for not putting me number 1 on your list, Chris.
Please give us a thick 5-star rating. Tell all your friends and go Reggie Bullock.
Yes.
Good luck with the Mavericks. Hope you guys listen next week and watch us on YouTube. We're there as well. Thank you for listening to the Culture State Podcast.
The Culture State Podcast, part of the Capital Broadcasting Podcast Network, with new shows coming out every Wednesday. Download and subscribe from wherever you get your podcasts, including the WRAL Sports Fan app.